Hey, it's Mike Lynch at AmeriFirst Financial. It's time for your Monday morning mortgage update for the week of November the 28th. I hope everybody had a fantastic short Thanksgiving Day or long Thanksgiving Day weekend, depending on how you worked. It was a short week for the market, but it was a long weekend. I had a great Thanksgiving Day weekend, spent time with family, ate a ton of food, too much food, started decorating for Christmas, and then ate more food. But it was all good. The food was amazing. So let's recap last week and talk about what's going to happen this week. Last week, as I said, was a short week, really only 3 days of trading because the market, everybody went home on Wednesday afternoon. The market was closed Thursday, and it was only open half day on Friday, and nobody really did anything. But we actually had a slight improvement on the market because the Fed indicated in some of its speaks and some of its reports that they might start to ease the Fed rate increases. Now, this isn't new. They've announced that they would probably raise the Fed fund rate to the end of the year, and then they're going to leave it alone for 2023, let that bake into the economy, mature and ferment, slowing the economy down to bring inflation down, because that's the goal. That's what they're trying to do. So what are we looking at this week? 3 things: inflation, nothing new here. Big jobs week this week. And I want to talk about a lot of reports out there that we're in this horrible real estate bubble and show you some things that might change your mindset. So inflation. A few weeks ago, the CPI came out, and that's a consumer price index. And it showed that inflation was starting to ease. This is a good thing. This is why the Fed's raising the Fed fund rate. Now, I want to show you the chart that we look at all the time. This is the trading of shows the trading of mortgage-backed securities in the bond market. And where my cursor is, this is a live feed. You can see on this day, on the 10th of November, that's when the CPI report came out, and it showed easing of inflation. It was a huge one-day increase of money flowing into the bond market. Rates got better. And then we've been riding this wave of improved rates since November 10th. Well, this week is another big week. On Thursday, the PCE is coming out, and the PCE is the producer's consumption expenditure, and it is a key measure of inflation for the Fed. And if it starts to show, or if it supports what the CPI showed a few weeks ago, that inflation is easing, this is going to be good news for rates. And it's supporting that what the Fed's doing, raising those rates, is starting to work. So really, really looking forward to that Thursday report. Secondly, big jobs week, unemployment, jobless claims, wages, manufacturing numbers. The Fed wants to see the economy is slowing. Why? Because if they see reduced or increased unemployment, and we see increased jobless claims, decreased inflation, decreased wages, decreased manufacturing numbers, all of that is showing the economy is slowing. And that means what the Fed's been doing is working, curbing inflation. Slower economy means Fed rate hikes are working, and the Fed can back off on increasing those rate hikes moving forward. Now, again, they said they're going to stop and then let this bake for rest of 2023, not lowering the Fed rate, but just letting it stay there. So a lot of attention is going to be paid into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday when a lot of these reports come out. Will rates improve sooner than later? Fannie Mae said rates are going to be in 5% range by summer. There's some experts that say we could see rates start to come down in the first part of next year and maybe get into the 5% range before summer. So a lot of attention will be paid to these reports to show really where is our economy headed. Still early. We're still in a lot of corrections, but we're starting to see some signs that maybe what the Fed's been doing is working. And then the last thing is a bubble. There's a lot of reports that came out over the weekend that we're in a big bubble. We could see housing prices come down 10, 15, even 20%. And these are some experts that really don't pay a lot of attention or aren't housing experts. And there's really not a lot of support for this, but it's a report that comes out that our buyers and our sellers are going to be looking at. And I want to give you some tools and how you can talk to your buyers and sellers in comparing really 2008 with 2022, the last big recession that had a big housing crisis. And let's be honest, we all have a little bit of PTSD from the last housing crisis. So in 2008, the average homeowner had 19% equity in their property. And that's because they could borrow as much money as they wanted. There were 90%, 95% cash out refinance loans. You know, the story, you come home, your neighbor's got a new truck, a new quad, a new toy, doesn't make as much money as you do, and you're wondering where they're getting all this money. Well, they were borrowing it against the house. Now the average homeowner has 59% equity in the property. That's a huge, huge difference. So even if we see a dip in the market, the average homeowner can weather this storm. The second thing to keep in mind is inventory. So if we look at inventory levels in 2007 and 8 compared to now, there was 4 million homes available for sale in 2007 and 8. There's only 1.2 available now. So this inventory is a big issue because it's not going away. It's actually getting worse. We're in a building recession. Builders have really backed off. They learned their lesson from 2008 and 9, and they backed off early, and they're really curbing their future building right now. We see the numbers that support that. And that means that when these rates start to improve and these buyers dive back into the housing market, there's just not enough homes to take or to fill the need of all the homeowners that are out there. There's 11 million new households that exist today that did not exist back in 2007 and 8. So there's just more demand, and the inventory, again, is not going away. It's not getting better. In fact, we're at a 3.3% inventory, a 3.3 month inventory, and a normal market is just under 5%. So we're still well below inventory levels. And the other thing that existed in 2007 and 8 were the bad loans. There were a lot of funky loans out there, the liar loans. People could borrow money without supporting or proving income. Now everybody's in a 30-year fixed loan, so their payments aren't going to change. So even if the market does change and corrects and comes down and people need to refinance, their payment isn't going to change. It's not going to double and change overnight. It's going to stay the same. So that's a positive. And again, we don't see the support of that 10 to 20% reduction that some people are saying. And back in 2008-9, home values actually went down 40 to 50%. So even if we do see a 5, 10, 15% reduction, it's nowhere close to the market that we saw in 2008, 9, and 10. So hopefully those are some tools that you can use when buyers are concerned, they have objections. Throw some of these statistics out, Google these, you can find these, and it just gives you some knowledge that you can have an intelligent conversation with those buyers and sellers. So we're floating into the middle of this week. We expect a lot of volatility, but we also expect a PCE report that shows inflation is starting to ease and abate. And if that happens, we're going to see rates actually improve at the end of the week. So if you know somebody that needs some insight on their mortgage rates, go ahead and give me a call. Forward this to somebody you think could benefit from this video. Have an awesome, productive week, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.